Hi there. Today we are going to take a close look at the different types of figurative language used in Anne Bradstreet's poems, To My Dear and Loving Husband, and Upon the Burnt of Our House. Figurative language is language that doesn't have its normal everyday literal meaning. Writers use figurative language to make their work more interesting and fun. An interpretation is when you explain what something means. We are going to look at some phrases from Bradstreet's poems. After I identify what type of figurative language is being used, I will give you my interpretation of what I think the lines from the poem mean. A hyperbole is a figure of speech in which the truth is exaggerated for emphasis. I prize thy love more than mines of gold, or all the riches that the east doth hold. My love is such that rivers cannot quench. I think that this phrase is an example of hyperbole because Anne compares her love for her husband to mines of gold. She doesn't just say she loves her husband or I love my husband so much. She says, I love my husband. Thy love is more than mines of gold or all the riches that the east doth hold. My love is such that rivers cannot quench. Anne uses hyperbole to emphasize her love for her husband in this phrase. Hyperbole, a price so vast as is unknown. I think this is another example of hyperbole. Anne is using exaggeration to let the reader really know and feel her emotions at the time. Hyperbole. The world no longer let me love. I think this is another example of hyperbole because Anne is using exaggeration to express how she feels at this time. After losing everything she owns in a fire, her house and all of her belongings, she feels like she will never be happy again, that she will never be able to love again. But this is not true. She's using exaggeration to express her feelings, but we know that Anne will move on and she will be able to love again. Thy love is such I can no way repay. The heavens reward thee manifold, I pray. I think this is another example of hyperbole. Anne uses exaggeration to tell her readers or let her readers know how much her husband loved her. In no way will she be able to repay him for his love, but she prays that God will reward him in heaven. Personification. Personification is a figure of speech in which an object, animal, or idea is given human characteristics. And to my God, my heart did cry. This is an example of personification because Anne is giving her heart human characteristics when she says that her heart is crying. Metaphor. A metaphor is a comparison of two unlike things that does not use the words like or as. My hope and treasure lies above. This is an example of a metaphor. Anne is comparing heaven above to a treasure. Metaphor. Thou hast an house on high erect, framed by that mighty architect, with glory richly furnished, stands permanent though this be fled. It's purchased and paid for too by him who hath enough to do. These lines from the poem use metaphor. I know this because the author is comparing the house she lost, her earthly home, with a house on high. When she uses the words house on high erect, she's talking about her heaven.